Assassin's Creed, you've played this game
Uh-huh.
before, and there's a big controversy about this game because we're not going to play the trailer, but it takes place in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like, "Oh, gonna have these Japanese people, whatever," and the samurai is black, and not that there's not black samurai or anything like that, but people are just expecting, you have it about these certain places. The characters are usually those certain ethnicities, and
Mm-hmm.
so people are like, "Is this kind of a woke thing going on?" So why don't you briefly tell people what the game is about if they're unaware?
So, Assassin's Creed, there's been 13 installments of the game. This will be the 14th one coming out. I own the first 10, and I've played the first 7. So, basically gone through half of the series. So, there are two main forces going against each other. There's the Brotherhood of Assassins, and then there's the Templars. The Brotherhood, they basically want, freedom for humanity, make your own decisions, live your own life, complete freedom and whatnot. And the Templars, they want to control humanity through. There are these artifacts that had power called Pieces of Eden, where you could use it to like control people's minds or create like illusions and stuff. And so throughout history, there have been figures that have used these Pieces of Eden to control the populace. And the Templars in modern day are the heads of this global company called Abstergo, and they're in tech, they're in medicine, they're in media, and kind of reminds me of a certain two evil corporations, Blackguard and Vanguard, BlackRock and Vanguard, controlling everything. But they have their hands in everything, and they're trying to control the populace in whatever ways. And so, when you play the game, you're going through. It's partially in modern day and partially in the past, because you're using this machine to go through um, uh, someone's DNA and see their ancestors' memories to find these artifacts. And so when you play the game, you have to like follow the memory. Like exactly, if you go like off trail or kill people that not supposed to be killed, then you have to restart the level because that's not what happened in the memory. And so that's basically Assassin's Creed. It go to various periods. The first one started off during the Crusades, and then the next 3 were all like took place in Rome, I think. And then it was like in the Caribbean, and then it was in America, and then and in different places throughout history. And so
And
people have
the
been.
one in America, that he was like Native American, right?
Yep, he was half native, half English, and he was helping the American Revolution. And so people have been wanting a game in Japan for a very, very long time. And personally, I've been wanting a game in Japan for a very, very long time. So when I found out they were finally doing it, I was like, oh, maybe I should catch up and play these other games. When I found out that it was about Yasuke, the black samurai, who was not actually a samurai, he was just like a vassal of Nobunaga. So people get that fact wrong about that historical fact wrong, that he actually wasn't a samurai. He was basically a bodyguard, and he did end up fighting for the guy, but uh so he is a real historical figure. They're just adding this piece of fiction to kind of give him a higher status. And yeah, so based off of a real character, they're adding this fiction onto it. And recently
Well, they don't normally do that though. They're normally all fictional characters, correct?
No. Well, there are fictional characters, but you do interact with some historical people.
But I mean, like the assassins themselves.
Yeah, the assassins themselves, they are fictional people in real settings. So that's a bit different, at least from the first 7 that I've played. And so that's a bit different. And another thing that they decided to be different with is that they announced that he is going to be a part of the LGBTQ AI plus community.
Yeah, so it's like a duo because there is actually a Japanese girl that you can be too, right, in the
Yeah.
game. So I read that both of them could pursue different interests. So he could be with a dude, I guess, and she could be with a lady, and so on. So but there's, from my understanding, there's two other games where you can, that they've had, that you can pursue same sex
Yeah.
relationships.
The
So
first one they did that took place in ancient Greece, which I'm like, okay, it's ancient Greece, I guess.
yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So George Alexopoulos, who is a artist who does a lot of, political stuff, and is one of your favorite artists, and you actually have a commissioned piece, not you didn't
Yeah.
make, we got it for your birthday, that hangs in your house. He actually had this comic where it's like, oh no, someone has been assassinated. He said, who could have done this? And he said, search for anyone out of the ordinary. So not entirely stealthy situation going on there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually for the best or whatnot, but so people, again, they wanted it in Japan. They're like, oh, you guys are just, doing this woke thing. We just kind of wanted to be normal. Like, we get that he's been brown, or it's a brown dude, but it's in Japan. Like, why wouldn't they be Japanese, and you don't have to invoke this historical person, and so on. So people have all kinds of different complaints. But when these things tend to happen, I don't think diversity, people would generally mind it if it makes sense. But even if it's whatever, people sense these sort of I don't know, animosity or the agenda, rather. When people feel like, we don't want these characters to be white because we don't like white people, and there's enough white people get mad when you change people's ethnicities or whatever. But what really makes these controversies blow up is the reaction that the access media will have, or the companies themselves will have, because IGN posted this. It said, let's not pretend we're mad the new Assassin's Creed Shadow Samurai isn't Asian. So
no, we're mad. Fans are very upset.
But the assertion here is, you guys aren't really mad that he's not Asian. You're mad that he's black. So that's cap. The people have been very upset about people not being Asian before, like the Avatar series.
Yeah.
When the movie came out with M. Night Shyamalan, he made all the Fire Nation Indian. Because
that sounds more Asian, but
because he's Indian, so he's like, I like the Fire Nation, so everyone's gonna be what I am. But Katara and Sokka,
then they nerfed the fire bending so they could only actually bend fire that already existed.
Yeah, really crazy stuff. Really interesting decisions. Like, I really like the Kyoshi Warriors. I like them so much I took them out of the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. But when they cast Katara and Sokka, they were, very fine actors outside of Avatar. They are good actors.
Yeah.
Just not in Avatar. Which I'm just gonna blame. That's probably the director's fault. But M. Night Shyamalan, because she went to Bates Motel and was just amazing, and she's been in other stuff. And of course, the other one is I think it was
Jackson
Rathbone. Yeah. So, and he was in Twilight and other things as well. But they're good actors, just not in that film. But one of them played a vampire. That's how white he is. And
yeah,
just to let you know, Sparkle in the Sunshine, vampires. So yeah, they're really, really pale white kids, and they're the darkest. The Water Tribe people are the darkest ones on the show. So people were very mad at that, and they were mad that Aang wasn't white. What was white? Noah Ryder, I think was his name. Ringer.
I don't remember his last name.
But they were mad about him. Now I didn't really care that much because I thought he looked enough like Aang, to be honest. But people, it was like hashtag Aang ain't white. And so Jesse McCarthy was actually supposed to be Zuko. And so he got paid for the role. He did training and all this kind of stuff. Like he went like out into like a special part of the world, I think, and did all this training and stuff. And then after they got so much backlash about Katara and Sokka and Aang, you're just kind of like, okay, we gotta change it up here. So they decided to add Asian representation instead of like firing, the white kids or whatever. He's like, okay, we're just gonna make all the Fire Nation Indian because I'm Indian. And so very bizarre takes there. But my point in bringing it up was people were very upset that there was a lack of Asian representation.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean, think about Scarlett Johansson being in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
People were very upset about that.
Yeah, I which I did, that was another situation I didn't really care because I thought she kind of looked enough like
the robot. So
yeah, but they were trying to. There was some kind of report that they were trying to kind of make her face more Asian with like technology. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not cool.
that's weird. That's like, weird, guys.
Either she does look like the character, or you needed to hire an Asian woman. Mm-hmm. So you can't try to do sloppy seconds with the AI or whatever.
I did not know that part. That's new information to me.
So at least that was what was reported. I'm pretty sure that was the case, but yeah, but people want Asian representation, absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
So to pretend like people genuinely don't want to see the main characters be Asian people in Japan is silly.
Yeah, and I saw some tweets from Japanese people that were translated into English, complaining about the architecture that was in the trailer because it looked more Chinese than Japanese.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
That's an issue. George Alexopoulos, he also got apparently banned from Ubisoft or whatever, because they asked, you know what I'm talking about?
No, continue.
Because they asked like, what's your favorite part of the Assassin's Creed trailer? And so I think it was to them, or could have been to somebody else, but he got banned for this tweet here. That was the part where you thought it was a good idea to feature a black man committing violence against Asians in 2024. So,
yeah. Hashtag stop Asian hate.
Yeah, hashtag stop Asian hate.
Don't look up those statistics.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they blocked him and hid his comments.
Oh my.
There was another situation that was kind of funny where people were going back and forth in a thread, and someone said playing as a black man murdering tons of Japanese people isn't the hill to die on, guys. And someone said, where did they say he was a murderer? And so there you go. It's in the title. It's in the name. It's not like One Piece when there's pirates and Luffy doesn't want to do anything that the pirates do. Like,
yeah,
we're not gonna murder and you plunder and all those things. Like, yeah, it's kind of seems like you don't know what a pirate is, bro. It's more than just sailing some water looking for treasure. But there's some dark stuff in there, guys. So yeah, they do actually kill people on Assassin's Creed.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Look at us.
I remember one time I was playing and I was downstairs in the living room and my dad was he was on the computer and he had like swolled around in the chair and he saw that I was, because it was like a mission like to kill some women that were like assassins from like another thing. And so I was like sneaking up, and I killed like 5 women in a row. And his dad was like, "Why do you keep killing all these women? What kind of game is this?" And I'm like, "They're trying to kill me." This is premeditated self-defense.
Yeah, it's funny when they finally pay attention to the things that you do.
Yeah.
I remember we used to have Celebrity Deathmatch. We played it maybe like twice, and Dad's like, "You guys cannot play this." Which, by the way, that was an awful game. We probably shouldn't have had it, but because they,
it's a cult classic,
yeah, I guess. But they, were killing. It was claymation, but a pretty brutal still too. So,
did he have a problem with Mortal Kombat though?
Parents aren't always consistent in life. I guess definitely not the old ones, because we had at least like the first couple. We don't have any like modern ones with like really great graphics, but yeah, we totally played Mortal Kombat, watched the movies.
I mean, I have no memories of playing the old Mortal Kombat.
Oh, you might have been a little baby if you were here existing. Like we were
just have a remote like, here, you can be scorpions.
No, you probably I don't know if you really played it, but we did play the game. Like I got one of those console things. I have with a bunch of old games or whatever, and I was playing with Katrina a little bit, and it started to just come back to her, like the moves. So
muscle memory,
muscle memory. It is a wonderful thing. So anyway, there's usually agendas attached to this stuff, and that's just the kind of unfortunate thing with our world. But we'll see how the game actually does. If the gameplay is, good, maybe it'll overcome all that stuff. But this idea that if the fans are upset, it's just because the fans are bad and the fans are actually racist, I don't like it, and I don't understand why the Access Media does it. I don't understand why the companies do that, like especially when like writers will be upset at their fans, like when Sandman came out, or the Percy Jackson stuff, and like, oh, we're so disappointed in these fans that are upset about what your characters that you may not being accurately represented. You can't expect people to get so attached to these things, and then you pull a 180 and just be like, oh, never mind, it was no big deal, I only have them on I purchased the memorabilia, with that particular face on it. So yeah, people can get really attached to their fandoms, and they expect them to be a particular way. But yeah, they're just because they don't respond the way that you want them to respond doesn't mean that they're racist, terrible people who don't like black people.
And I don't get like the lashing out at fans when they don't like something. Like they're your customers. They're the ones that are gonna buy your product, review your product, play your product. And so just preemptively just lashing out and just being like, oh, well, they're some sort of ist or ick for not responding to this thing that I'm doing, where I'm clearly inserting unneeded diversity and inclusion things into things. That it's just, I don't know. I feel like all the media that I really enjoyed as a child, all the modern interpretations of it are just trash.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these agendas inserted into it when before they wanted to tell a story, and now they want to tell a story and then shoehorn in a political message with it. And I don't know. A lot of the things I used to love as a child are just dead to me, and that's really sad.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
Find something new to pass on to our children. But I guess the last thing I want to mention though is they're trying to pass it off like, oh, you guys just don't want this person to be black. But it's like, no, why shouldn't you? Like, if people usually get in trouble for not having the proper representation or whatever, why do you just get a pass for not having this person be Japanese.
Yeah.
Why? So it's just like Japanese is not the same thing as black. So why?
Definitely not.
So
definitely not.
Why shouldn't people feel a certain way that this character isn't Japanese when they probably should be Japanese? Because if your message is, well, it's just good that they're not white, be happy that we have a person of color. No, have it be the right person of color.
Yeah.
That's appropriate for the situation. And I'm not saying
I read some things from people that used to work in the Assassin's Creed game stuff, and they said when they were workshopping the idea for the game, originally it had a different story and a different protagonist, but after they left the company, I guess things changed, and so that's it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I mean, if they wanted to include that historical character, they still could have included him and like had him like help you on missions or something, because there were times when you had to go talk to George Washington, or you had to talk to Leonardo da Vinci, or you interacted with real historical people, but you were yourself a fictional character in this fictional character's bloodline, trying to find the truth and trying to find these artifacts and trying to save the world from destruction and stuff. So if they really wanted to include him, they could have included him in a different way that didn't feel so forced, because he was a real person. He wasn't a real samurai, but yeah, according to historical records, he was about 6'2", and Nobunaga, I think was the guy's name, the lord that was fascinated by his skin when he first saw him. He believed the man was covered in ink, and so he requested that he take off his shirt and wash so that he could see that if it was really his skin or not. And so after that, he was fascinated because the African man, history doesn't record what his actual name is, but they refer to him as Yasuke. And so he came with like Jesuit missionaries. And so Nobunaga was like, hey, can I keep it? Can he stay with me? And so he became his bodyguard because he was fascinated by how tall he was and how dark he was.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like he tried to take his like hand and write something down, or like the man of ink.
He's like, I don't
use him like a Sharpie. Like I didn't know exactly where the story was going. Okay, but anyway, yeah, that's all. I guess thank you for coming on and sharing the knowledge of the game. I knew, a little bit. I know you played it, but thanks for explaining the situation and coming on to talk about it. But I'm sorry they're ruining so many things that you love.
Well, there's always the things made by Ninja Dust Publishing.
Yes.
Everyone go to publishing.com to get fantasy novels, historical fiction novels.
Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you go to blacktnews.com and check out different articles, different videos, and also check out our merchandise. If you like what I do, you can also support the website on the donate page. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell. God bless.